What's poppin', everybody? This is Sableye and welcome back to Expanded Pokemon Sets. Today we're going to be looking at the 5th Black and White set. This one is a personal favorite of mine. I go between this and Dragons Exalted as my favorite of the era. I am, of course, talking about Dark Explorers. So, it's story time, players. Back when I was in university, when I was in the UK, uh, quite a few years back. I'm not going to tell you the whole story of when I got into the Pokemon TCG, but during that time when I went in London to study, it was when I was really not into the Pokemon TCG. I kind of took a break. I was into other stuff at the time. And even before that, when I was at my last year of high school, I think a couple of years, maybe even, I wasn't really into the Pokemon TCG. And it was when I saw these beautiful full arts, particularly this Groudon EX. I hope it shows us. Fuck, it's not. That's too bad, actually. But I don't remember which website I saw it, or what site was it? What was I doing? I don't remember. But I saw this fucking stunning, awesome, beautiful full art Groudon EX. And it was then when I was like, man, I should get back in the TCG, see what's up, see what's going on. And during that time, I found out the latest set was Plasma Blast or Legendary Treasures, or maybe Legendary Treasures was going to come out soon. And I got a bunch of boxes of Plasma Blast and Legendary Treasures pretty quickly. And I just got into it again. Pokemon TCG Online, all that good stuff, and got really competitive too. During that time, I was really into Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot. It was at my peak, I should say. I was buying so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Products, playing on Dev Pro so much. But that was the period where I just got into the Pokemon TCG again and got really into it. I remember actually, damn, like this set is so significant. During that time, maybe it was 2013, 2014 perhaps, I'm not too sure. I saw some Dark Explorers booster boxes because I really wanted to pull some of these cards. It was 125 pounds. I'm never going to forget it. And I was thinking to myself, man, it's pricey. I'm not sure if I want to go for it. And because during those days, when I started getting Pokemon boxes, it was around 70 pounds, you could say. So 125, that's almost double the price. Lo and behold, this ended up becoming the most expensive black and white set. Like, even years ago, it surpassed a lot of the older DP hard gold sets. Like, if you wanted to get booster boxes, it became the most expensive the quickest. And not only because it was busted, but I think it was because there was an error the way they were printing them, and you could just scale them and get like the full arts and get the good stuff inside of them. I'm not sure of the details. You can Google what's up with that, but this set was busted. Now, the best card, since I should probably get with the review, is the Darkrai EX right here. Oh, it's going to show us. So you're showing me this but not Groudon? Damn shame. But this card was the perfect jack of all trades, a phenomenal card that we'd never really seen before, this kind of combination. I don't believe there was ever any card like in the DP era or the EX era or whatever that had such a perfect combination of offense and support on a basic Pokemon. With Dark Cloak, this guy could give any Pokemon that had a Darkness Energy free retreat, and on top of that, Night Spear, which is weak today by today's standards. But back then, doing 90 damage and 30 snipe, 120 damage total, was pretty hot. Was really strong. And especially considering this dude could use the Dark Claw too, which we're going to look at, that made this guy hit for 140 total. It was like a muscle band exclusively for him and for other Darkness Pokemon. On top of that, it was 180 HP, as big as those guys would get back then, the X's. Resistance to Psychic, it was sort of like the Pokemon to counter and fight back against the Mewtwo. it was Mewtwo and this guy going at it pretty much during those days. So, phenomenal ass card. It gave birth to the Darkrai Turbo deck, since we get Dark Patch in here too, which, you know, paved the way for the other patch cards. The Aqua Patch, the Metal Saucer today too, basically doing almost the same thing. Man, fucking sirens outside. I don't know if you can hear them, but anyway. So you dump Darkness Energy to use this, and Darkrai would be ready in no time. Since the rules back then were you could play first too, it made some crazy shit. I mean, you would play first, dump Darkness Energies, power up the Darkrai, and he was going to be ready to unleash Night Spear on turn 1 if you had the right cards. But yeah, Dark Patch, Darkrai EX, the Dark Claw, where is it? Over here. This is the muscle band for Darkness Pokemon. You know, just these cards made Darkrai extremely powerful. On top of all this, I'm pretty sure this is the original set where Ultra Ball comes out, which is... Actually, I mean, I always forget that this card came in here. But yeah, this is the original set of Ultra Ball. One of the most significant item cards too. Over here, like it's been such a crucial card ever since it got out. Like the golden Ultra Ball, like the secret rare, is I think the most sought after of those golden secret rares because it's Ultra Ball. It's almost like this is an A spec in a way, like if Master Ball didn't exist. It's so good. Discard too, get a Pokemon. Legendary card. And this is also in here. So yeah. Comboing out with Darkrai right from the first set. What else do we have? We got some random receiver. I think this is also the first set where this came out. Another excellent item. Reveal cards until you get a supporter. There's always guarantees that you're going to get a supporter, unlike the Pokegear. But at the same time, you don't get the option to choose if you reveal a bunch. This is still better though. It's bad maybe if you run cards like Lysander and Guzma in your deck, and you're trying to draw, you're trying to look for a drawing supporter, and then you reveal them. But other than that, it's a great card, even to this day in Expanded. I guess maybe Male is more useful overall. We got some reprints here. The N, Professor Juniper, alternate art versions. You get Sharon. You get Enhance Hammer. I think this might be the first version of Enhance Hammer too. This was basically Lost Remover, but goes to the discard pile as opposed to Lost Zone. Another ever useful card, as long as you know special energies are popular. What else we got? Hooligans, Jim and Cass. Flip a coin. Yeah, this is a extreme luck card. Flip a coin. If heads, 3 of your opponent's cards from your hand you choose randomly, and they go back into his deck. Pretty busted. It's a Puka card. You would see this in his Deck Wizard Wednesdays videos, or where the wizard would choose this, put it in his deck. Yeah, cool shit. But I went all over the place, but yeah, I'm really passionate about this set. Darkrai, the biggest EX. My favorite, of course, Groudon, Kyogre, and of course I love this Raikou too. In my Ray Eels set, Ray Eels deck, I use this. So this card, it's weak now once again. I mean, the new Cramorant that came out in the Sword and Shield set basically does what this dude does for a lot more damage. You can use any energy. But this guy with Volt Bolt, you discard a Lightning, you do 100 snipe. You used to use this to kill the Garbodor. That was your his main role. And then, of course, sniping is always useful. 170 HP, Thunder Fang, Coin Flip Attack. You know, it was good. You know, I used this for a very good while. Longer than you're supposed to, probably. Now, my favorite dude, of course, like I've said, this is my favorite full art of all time. I can't believe it's not showing us, but anyway. This guy actually was pretty decent in the beginning too. He got power crept really quickly, to my dismay, but in the beginning, like when this set was fresh, before people were really caught on to Darkrai, this dude it was supposed to be a good answer against lightning Pokemon, against Zekrom and stuff. He had the resistance. He was also big, 180, as big as you get, and you could heal and do stuff. You could do Trump, do 20, and then do 10 to all of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That was nice. And when you got the giant claw attack going eventually, 120 if they had 2 or more damage counters, 80 if they didn't. It was decent, not the greatest EX. Kyogre is definitely better, especially when Primal Kyogre came out. Oh yeah, another one of my decks. I can't believe it. It's not showing Kyogre either. It's not showing the best dudes from Gen 3. But this Pokemon, obviously, is good for me because of Dual Splash. I used to use this in Primal Kyogre too, because it was really useful. You hit the Shaymins on your opponent's bench, and then the Primal Kyogre would do like 30, 30 here, 30 there, and before you know it, you get some good KOs. This was used in the Kling Klang deck with a Darkrai here, Rainbow Energies, Max Potions too. I always forget the dude that made the deck, but he used Kyogre EX too. Smash Turn isn't great. And then we got good old Entei EX. Looks like it's not showing this guy either. So this might be the weakest from this set. I mean, you could use Grand Flame, do 90 and attach a Fire Energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. But this isn't so great. You usually want to have a cheap attack that does this sort of effect. Fire Fang, 30 for 2 and Burn. This was before the new Burn rules, so it wasn't so great. Super cool card, art-wise, but I think is the weakest EX from here. And then Tornadus. This dude's ugly, but he could do some decent stuff too. I guess blow through if there's any stadium. 60 damage, and you don't discard it actually. So you're just 60 for a DC. Not bad. Power Blast, 100 for 3. Flip a coin if it tells you we're going to discard an energy. But at least it was DC compatible. It could work with any energy. I guess it was a splashable Pokemon. Also something you used to see on Deck Visit Wednesday. We just go into Puka's deck. Anyway, so I looked at the EXs. We got some secret rares too. We got the Gardevoir here from Next Destinies. Good stuff. You got the Archeops that never saw play until Maxi came out and then it got banned. Unfairly, but it is what it is. With H and power. And then you got the Golden Pokemon Catcher. The secret rare version, you could say. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I think they were still experimenting and stuff because, yeah, you get this gold Pokemon Catcher, but it doesn't have all of the other gold glittering stuff, like the Ultra Ball, like the random receiver, like all of the other golden secret rares, rare candy, and what have you. So yeah, they were still sort of experimenting. The first experimental set. Black and White Dark Explorers is old. You got Twist Mountain here. This was supposed to be like a support card for the Fossils Stadium. You could flip a coin. If heads, you may play a restored Pokemon from your hand into the bench. Yeah, not great. Twist Mountain from Black and White. Yeah, the video games, good times. Okay, so I think we looked through all the bottom cards here. There's Old Amber Aerodactyl too. So let me show you guys some of the other cards. But to be honest, I mean, like, I really just love this set just for a couple of cards, like this full arts over here. Like I've said, it's not like it's a rich set with a lot of cool cards. Let's say, as a whole, you've got, of course, the Where are you? You got Venusaur. I guess I'll look at it since I scrolled in the beginning. Yeah, Forgotten Venusaur. With Fluorescent, once during your turn, you could search your deck for a Pokemon and put it into your hand. It's actually a great ass ability, but this dude is a stage 2. His attack sucks ass. I mean, this was like the time where the stage 2s were at their lowest usefulness. Like, crazy ass low. Like, damn. I'm not even sure if this was used anywhere, even as a support Pokemon. But this is Venusaur. Then you got the stage 2 that I like from here that kind of came at the wrong time. I remember seeing a review of a dude of this set. And yeah. This Blaziken 140 HP. You got Blaze Kick and Flamethrower. Flamethrower does 130 for 3 and then you discard an energy. This is actually a solid attack for back then, but not on a stage 2. It's just slightly better, just 10 more, than the Reshiram from base set, black and white. This would have been good if it came out like maybe during the first black and white set or during the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, you could say. Like, it would have been a decent card then. And then you got Blaze Kick, does 40, and if heads, 70, or if tails, burn. So, it's a cool Blaziken. I liked it, to be honest, but it just never was very good competitively during the time when Darkrai came out here. You know, your best bet was when you used it in like the theme decks, the starter theme decks in TCG Online. That's where I remember it best. Right. Yeah, Combusken too and Torchic. So, some other good stuff. Okay, there's the Empoleon. I kind of want to save this for later, but what other stuff do we have here? You got... Alright, this Espeon too. This was good too. I remember Jason Klasinski talking about it. Solar Revelation, yeah. Stage 1, you would get this out. Prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon has any energy attached to it. So if your Pokemon had energies on them, they wouldn't be affected by any effects, only damage. So this was kind of useful. I mean, by the next set, Garbodor would come out, which was the go-to stage 1 Pokemon you would want to get out for a great ass ability. And it kind of made this pretty irrelevant pretty quickly, but it is a decent little ability too. It had a use during that time. Yeah, I think it was, what was it? It stopped the paralysis from Vanillux, stuff like that. I'm not too familiar, but it had a use. And we got Cofagrigus. I think this is the one with the not the one with the ability, but you can do Chuck, discard 2 cards from your hand 40 times the tools you discarded. Yeah, you need to discard a lot to get one-hit knockouts, but I mean, it's certainly easier back then to hit 180 than during Sun and Moon era if you try to do this. Okay. There's the Aerodactyl. I don't think this is good. I don't even want to bother checking it out. You got this fucker. So the partner in crime for Darkrai here, Darkrai EX, and what led Jason to win his 3rd World Championship, this little dude right here, Sableye, with the Junk Hunt attack. You did this, you could get 2 item cards from your discard pile and put it into your hand. So back then, we gotta remember, hard gold sets were still around in the format. This was the last set where those sets were around. And the junk arm was around too. And this dude could get that back. This dude could get any item back. And it was busted to do this for just 1 darkness energy. It made for those fucking stall ass control, discard your opponent's resources deck. You could get enhanced hammers with this back. You could get crushing hammers. You could do a bunch of stuff. And then you always had the offensive option for Darkrai too if you wanted to. Like, to get the best idea of how the deck worked, you should check Jason Klaczynski's articles for the Black and White era. Check the Darkrai Sableye deck, and you'll get how it works. But yeah, this card is fucking insane. Like, to this day, you might find people trying to use this in expanded, lock, stall decks, annoying decks. I mean, I think Oranguru just basically does what this guy does, maybe now better, but I was never an expert for these sort of decks. But yeah, Junk Hunt, fuck this attack. Didn't have a weakness, Sableye, before fairies. And even Confuse Ray could be very annoying if your opponent got the heads. Yeah. So another very, very big card from here. Like, so many busted Sableye cards. I mean, you got the Sableye here, you got the Sableye from Stormfront. Just sets that are legendary, you know, this and Stormfront, for example, they've got that Sableye in them too. It can't be a coincidence. You got the Zoroark here. This is the one for Brutal Bash, 20 damage times the number of Darkness Pokemon you have in play. And the Dark Rush, it's 20 damage times the number of damage cards on this Pokemon. So I guess if somebody hit this dude hard and didn't kill him, you could do high damage. If someone was stupid enough to do 90 damage and not kill you, you could do 180 and get a 1-hit KO on a EX Pokemon. But the main attack was Brutal Bash. Like with a DC, this dude could pretty much hit 120 for just 1 energy or 2 energies. Stage 1 Darkness Pokemon. Made for a decent little, I guess, regular attacker tech in Darkness decks back then. Then we got the Absol 2. Yeah, and Plasma Freeze. But what else do we have? I mean, I think besides Empoleon, which I'm going to talk about, what else is there? Oh, we get another Haxorus. It's not going to show it. Didn't we get a Haxorus in Noble Victories too? Yeah. So I think maybe this is the last colorless Haxorus before the dragons came out. Anyway, but all that's left, I think, is the Empoleon right here. And I think, I don't know if I'm missing any other card, but okay, so this Empoleon, this was the best Stage 2 deck, the Stage 2 Pokemon from this set, and it's kind of crazy. This Pokemon was so good. Like, you look at it, it was so good on paper, and it was just a Stage 2 deck at best. I mean, eventually it got a little bit better, but in the beginning especially, you know, it was rough. I mean, it has everything you want in a Stage 2, like, that you would dream of for that time. Solid HP at 140, retreat is decent at 2, busted ability and busted attack. Dive and draw is essentially like the original, you know, Zoroark trade draw attack. You discard a card and then you draw 2. I mean, you guys know how busted Zoroark GX has been because of that ability. So this is the OG dude that does this. Now we got Cinccino that does that too. And then attack command works with just 1 water energy. 10 damage times the number of Pokemon in play. So if you filled your bench, you had like 6 Pokemon out, you were going to do 60. Your opponent needs to have at least 1 out, so that's 70. And if they had more, like, you could do between 80 100 damage for just 1 energy. Like, if you did like 100 damage or even 90 damage, so you would get like 2-hit KOs on EXs, you were good. Usually you were probably going to do a lot more damage since your opponent would probably play a bunch of Pokemon on his bench. But very good Stage 2. You know, when the Execute came out, obviously they made for a good combo. Propagation Execute. Puka used it a lot on his channel. You can check out videos of how the deck used to be. I mean, right now, of course, it's power crept. I mean, of course, the ability is still good, but obviously Zoroark power creeps this card hard. But yeah, I mean, very good card for back then, but it's crazy that cards like Darkrai were so busted that such an amazing stage too. Like, if this card existed in the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, it was gonna be like the strongest card, hands down. That Empoleon. Let's see. What do we have here? There's Vanillish, Vanillite, but no Vanillux. Okay. You got Jolteon. You got some other evolutions, but I don't think they do much. They certainly don't ring my memory. There's this Vaporeon here. What does it do? Like Muddy Water, 40. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I mean, this set is particularly busted only for some specific cards. Like, it just has a couple of cards that were just extremely good. You know, that's what it was, really. And yeah, I don't know what else to say besides some other stories about back back in the days, I guess, of these sets of, like I've said, when I was at university, getting back to the Pokemon TCG, when these sets were still in the standard format. Yeah. But this set did become like I'm pretty sure even right now it's the most expensive black and white set, one of the most expensive sets overall. Like, it became expensive extremely quick. It might be like the quickest set that got, collectors money value really quickly. Like, even just a couple of years ago, like in 2015, 2016, you would see this set be like $500 and stuff. I mean, it's crazy good. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this set review. I think I just rambled pretty randomly, but we covered all of the best cards. There were only a few of them. If I'm forgetting something, I'm forgetting something, but it is what it is. Let's look at this crocodile real quick. Yeah, it doesn't do much. Boombast, it's not so great. I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this video with your friends. And yeah, I guess sort of mention too that I actually bought this Groudon card, one of the most expensive cards I bought. Like, pretty much just to have it in my collection, not even use it. Super, super hot, beautiful. This Raikou, Darkrai, my god. Look at this dude. Fly. But yeah, Sableye 4, thank you guys for watching. What's up?